guys, and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies. I know, this channel really isn't about Star Wars anymore. I mean, what can I say? I have other interests, I have other hobbies, and I've been getting into other things, which I'll eventually be making videos on this channel for. Yes, my main channel is actually going to be Anime Talk, which you guys should totally go check that out. It's a channel where I just gather up a couple of friends and we do nothing but talk anime. But when I do have something I want to talk about, I'm going to make a video about it. And today I have something I want to talk about. Today I have a question. Really, it's not a question for you, but it's a question for me. Was I wrong about the Bad Batch? Does anyone remember a little show called The Clone Wars? Oh, I don't know. I did not spend my entire childhood watching that show. And then when they announced that Season 7 was coming out, I didn't absolutely go crazy along with all my friends and absolutely love it and enjoy it. No, didn't do that at all. No, I have no idea what The Clone Wars is at all. But if you guys remember, there was a little show called The Clone Wars, and in Season 7, that's kind of a big number, yeah, Season 7 of The Clone Wars, we got introduced to the Bad Batch, the genetically modified clones. And the Bad Batch was born. We wanted to see what their adventures. Did we really? When I first heard that they were going to be doing the Bad Batch, I thought, yeah, this is going to be really cool. We're going to see how the early days of the Empire really started to spread and how interesting and different this timeline could be. Because here's the thing, we have this timeline in comic books and a lot of stuff like that. Like, don't get me wrong, the Darth Vader comic books, I swear, the Darth Vader comic books are the best place to look for this. In fact, I really wished, instead of the Bad Batch, still to this day, even with the topic of this video, I have to admit this, I still wish they would just take the Darth Vader comic books and make a show out of them, because my god, this era with Darth Vader, one of my favorite characters as well, the comic books are fantastic when it comes to Darth Vader. If you guys haven't checked out Darth Vader, the comic books, please do so. They're absolutely awesome. We got the Bad Batch, and I went into this show, and don't get me wrong, I wanted to give it a chance, but the more I was watching it, the less and less I liked about it. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the Clone Wars animation. I grew up on the Clone Wars, like I said, but my god, the animation in the Bad Batch, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic, but here's the thing. The Clone Wars wasn't about the perfect, amazing animation. It was about the interesting and fascinating little stories that they could tell within the Clone Wars universe during the Clone Wars. And man, did they tell quite a story. Rebels was actually a fantastic continuation of the Clone Wars series. And when Rebels really started getting good, they started doing these small, like 2 to 3 to 4 episode arcs. The Clone Wars, if you guys remember, as much as I liked the first couple of seasons, the show started really getting good when they started doing these 3-4 episode arcs, these like mini movies. And don't get me wrong, the first 2 episodes of Bad Batch from season 1, yeah, that was pretty cool. It was pretty good. We got introduced to Omega. I didn't really like Omega as a character. I thought she really kind of was just her voice. I thought she was kind of annoying. It's really funny because you compare Omega to Ahsoka Tano, and I guess it's kind of the same, but like I was at the right age group when Ahsoka Tano came out, and I'm sorry, I went back and I watched the first movie of the Clone Wars, her first introduction in some of the early episodes of Clone Wars, and I'm sorry, Ahsoka Tano, still not nearly as annoying as Omega. I don't know what it is. I saw a couple episodes, I liked the character of Sid, but as the Bad Batch kept going on, I really started losing interest in the show. And I pretty much got up and I left completely. Around like maybe 3-4 episodes in, I was done. I didn't want to see any of it. Shout out to my boy Ninjoid, who is now Star Wars Network. Go check him out. He told me that Cad Bane was in the Bad Batch show. I went and I saw the Cad Bane episodes and watched the rest of the show. While yes, I absolutely love the fact that they brought Cad Bane back and we got a little bit of one of my favorite characters from Clone Wars back, I have to say this. Something that the Bad Batch just really turned into, and it's not something that I really liked, constant cameos. That's what the show turned into. This was just a place for cameos. It really wasn't a place for a story. Like, don't get me wrong, I liked the episodes they had with Hera Syndulla. Did we really have to do an arc with Hera Syndulla? She kind of felt like she was there just for the cameo, and they did that with Rex and other characters. That's right there, and I hate saying this, but it's kind of true. That's fan service, and I don't mind the fan service when fan service is good. In fact, I'm actually one of those people who want more fan service in Star Wars. But let me tell you, there's a time and place for fan service, and the Bad Batch, instead of giving us a story, they were giving us fan service, and it just got boring, and pretty soon, by the end of the first season, I really wanted nothing more to do with it. At the end of season 1, I was actually a little upset, to be honest with you. I was a little upset with the way they destroyed Kamino, because I wanted to see this whole Clone Wars, Clone Rebellion that the Kaminoans had, and we just skipped right over that. We skipped over what could have been some of the most impactful part of Star Wars, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, we have that stuff in the comic books, but like it would be really cool, especially because the Bad Batch are clones, it would be really cool to bring that all together in an arc where we got to see the Clone Rebellion. And what if the reason why the Clone Rebellion even existed was because of the Bad Batch? And that's the thing, like, the Bad Batch at this point. And I have to ask this, why are we following these clone stories? Like, what's the point of following these stories? What's the point of following these characters? That's what I want to know. Why am I following the Bad Batch? Why should I even care about these characters? You aren't making me care for these characters. You aren't making me like these characters. Clone Wars and Rebels are kids shows, TV shows, all you want. But I'm telling you, even Resistance, that's right, even Resistance had a reason to be told. They were telling the story. I wanted to see what the First Order was up to when I was watching Resistance. And while I never got to see Season 2, maybe at some point I'll watch Season 2 and start those reviews again. Let me know if you guys want that. But I even have to admit that Resistance was better than the Bad Batch, because I'm telling you what, it just seemed like there was no point to the story of the Bad Batch. For me, it was a huge problem with Season 1 of Bad Batch. We get into Season 2. That as much as I hated Season 1 of Bad Batch, I don't want Star Wars to fail. I love Star Wars, and I was hoping that Season 2 of Bad Batch would fix my problems with Season 1. And at first, they weren't doing it. At first, they weren't doing it. They kept on having filler after filler after filler, and not even good filler. Like, if you're going to have filler, okay, fine, but at least have filler that makes you care for the characters. The filler that we had with Ahsoka Tano in some wild jungle with a bunch of Wookiees, remember those episodes? Yeah, I consider those episodes filler. But you know what's great about them? They made you care about the growing character of Ahsoka Tano. Yes, they were filler. Yes, they didn't really add much to the quote-unquote story of Clone Wars and the continuation of the war. But man, I'm telling you what, it made you care about the characters. I was feeling that way with the Bad Batch. At least when it came to the character of Crosshair. Crosshair, in Season 2 of the Bad Batch, every time this man is on screen, I just want more of him. Crosshair is dealing with the fact that he has betrayed his brethren. And not only that, but Order 66, we are now starting to understand what the clones think of Order 66. Yeah, Order 66, they are led to believe by the chip that the Jedi are the bad guys, that the Jedi betrayed the Republic. And now that they are the Empire, they still want to follow orders, but then they start questioning, is this really right? Is this something that they should really do? And we are seeing that through the character of Crosshair. And then we get like these, we constantly get these Imperial officers, these quote-unquote new Imperial officers that are just done with the Republic, done with dealing with the clones. They are just wanting to spread into the new era, the new Star Wars that we will know as the original trilogy. And we got Crosshair right there in the middle, dealing with all of that. He's pretty much in a world where everyone looks at him as a bad guy. Why? Because he followed orders. And it makes him start questioning whether those orders are correct. I absolutely love Crosshair. Crosshair is some of the best stuff in Bad Batch. It's absolutely fantastic storytelling with what they're doing with Crosshair. But what about the other Bad Batch members? Because that's what the story is about, right? It's about the Bad Batch. And something I really liked about the Clone Wars is whenever they did episodes with the clones, they really add character and depth to each and every single clone, just with a couple of episodes. And felt like brothers. They felt like brothers in arms in war. It was fantastic storytelling, and I love the Clone Wars because of that. The Bad Batch, they feel like stereotypes. They honestly feel like stereotype characters. You got the big muscle man, you got the smart dude. Now don't get me wrong, in the latest episodes of The Bad Batch, they've kind of been, it's interesting because this is something that we are finally starting to dive into, and that is the fact that Omega, even though, yeah, she is a clone, she's still a child, she's still just a little girl. And so I really liked the idea of them trying to give Omega kind of the childhood that she deserves, you know? The island episode, when they go onto that island and they really kind of grow Omega's character, that was fantastic. And not only that, but Omega is also dealing with the fact that one of her brothers, quote-unquote, left. I mean, I'm sure we are going to see Echo come back. I mean, Echo, let me tell you, Echo should be the main character of Bad Batch. I really feel like we got nothing from Echo, and I really hope that in the future that we find whatever Echo is doing with Rex. I really hope we get that, because my god, Echo just left. You have literally all of my favorite characters from the Clone Wars just left, and now I'm just stuck with the Bad Batch. Granted, I'm starting to like Omega, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Omega actually is the reason why I really liked last episode. Now, the episode before that was a Crosshair episode, and that episode was just fantastic with how he met Mayday, how Mayday died. Oh man, I can just talk on and on about Bad Batch. So was I wrong about the Bad Batch? Well, statistically speaking, I've only seen about 6 good episodes out of 2 seasons of The Bad Batch. That is what I honestly feel like. I honestly feel like I've seen only 6 good episodes out of all The Bad Batch. And yes, The Bad Batch is not over yet. But what I will say is this. Yeah, I was wrong about The Bad Batch. It's actually really, really cool, and I can't wait to go watch it. I can't wait to see the rest of The Bad Batch. I really can't. But with that said, I hope we don't get another filler episode. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of the Bad Batch Season 2 so far? And so far, I've been enjoying it. So far, yeah, I can say that I've actually been wrong about the Bad Batch. And let's hope for the future that it continues on this route of getting better. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And with that said, thank you guys for watching, and I am out. Bye.
Subscribe to Dylan's Little Hobbies right now.